Miss LV Europa. Whatever you do, make sure you do it in the toughest environment. Mac double. That's the only way we grow. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. Who the toughest, who the strongest, who the smartest? Hitting the stage, PowerPoint, and I'm going through papers regardless. Listen up, got a point to prove, but I'm moving on, cause you niggas retarded. Toughest environment, only up make you a target. You don't want that smoke, shit your body last week, run down on the whole Christina clash with the pop. Oh my gosh, I think you to go, no rigmarole. Still take total control, just put my shit at the top of the pole. For toughest environment. Listen, just get it, I'm still about to bend it. I work every minute and maybe I'm on with Chris and his thoughts, and I thought you should know that this ain't a scrimmage. And I'm shaping you right, molding you tight to be in the image of toughest environment. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. I'm sure we can work this out, just get in the ring. You better be Zion Alexa, this vessel, divine prospect when he doing this thing. Or Captain Tazari, out there, cross that line, I get away clean. Or Ali Muhammad, so valid, still gonna be up on my dean. All of it brought together because of the studio. Stop acting like y'all could've been doing that cause you didn't do it though. And I watched them lions get ran out of the den, this shit'll get crucial. Who you know take the whole damn stage and turn that shit to a musical. Stay in your cubicle. The environment's tough, don't wire me up, I'm calling your bluff. I'm running it back and I'm running it back like it's never enough. Got them diamonds in the rough, and we can't get to every treasure, but you gotta help me dig it up. But to me it's like whatever. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment.
All right, yeah, family, you already know what it is. It's your brother Sarnetta coming at you once again. We got a powerful show for y'all today. We got Unc the God Killer in the building. Unc hit me up yesterday, and I didn't say this, but what sparked this discussion that we're going to have today is that Unc seen the debate between JJ and
Chief X.
He seen that debate. He immediately hit me up and called me and said, "Sir, I got to do a show on this." So I guess he's going to be correcting. He's going to be correcting Chief X, and we know Chief X is not going to sit well with that. Octavius is in the building. Shout out, peace to you, brother. Good to see you over here. Getting some real knowledge for a change.
That's right.
Some real information. And we got to see. I've been checking out your channel, brother, and I see you stepping your game up. That's what's up. You stepping your game up. You're trying to bring this information, and that's what it's all about, man. If we ain't trying to wake our people up, then what are we doing it for? We can do the BS all day. That's the easiest thing to do. But when you're teaching thousands of people across the world, that's hard. That's hard because people going to go with you. You're going to have the says and the nays. So, man, listen. When Unc saw that, he said, "Sarnett, I got to come at them. I got to get him." So I want y'all to know that Chief X is in the building. He's in the bushes, and he will be watching. Let me let y'all know what I got coming up this Saturday. We got the man. We got the brother, the Abos are running hard. The Abos are running scared. The Native American Indians are running scared. We got YK, the truth. We'll be in the building Saturday to really go in.
Uh-oh. Where's your uh-oh sound effect?
Yeah, right?
Where's
I think this is going to be a powerful presentation. If anybody got the American Indians down pat, is this brother right here. Is YK the truth. He knows this history. This brother is awesome with it. He's going to show you the sources. He's going to show you the scholarship. Make no mistake about it. If y'all don't know who this brother is, go and check him out.
Yes, go check his channel.
Check this brother out. I don't know what happened to I'll wait until he come through. Do you wanna say anything?
I just want to say we have some great debates coming up as well. We had a great debate yesterday. You know, we're not gonna not make some commentary on yesterday's firefight. Come on now. You want to take this down, honey? Hola.
What you say?
You want to take this down?
No, it could be up there while you're talking. I'll get it down in a minute.
I was going to talk about Elder Yara and
go ahead.
Elder Yara. Where's their flyer at? You took it down? Cuban Elder Yara. Well, what do you think about that debate yesterday, family? Like, let's see. Any comments? The communism.
That was a good debate. The people are saying they give it to Cube.
Oh,
that's the majority of them is saying they give it to Cube. When you go and look in the comments, they going with Cube. I don't know what it is. I hope y'all not hating on my brother, man, my little brother, Elder Yara, because y'all don't be treating Elder Yara right over here, man.
We treat him right, though. That's our family.
Start treating my brother right, man.
Yara's family.
Yeah, Yara family, man. Yara have supported me when the channel was down and everything, man. Y'all got to start showing him a little more love, man.
Well, you know, Yara doesn't give a dang anyway.
Yeah, Yara don't care, but still, man, start showing Elder Yara a little more respect than what y'all giving him right now.
I mean, that was a good debate. I'm gonna say I don't like to make comments on the winners when it's so close to home, but let me just say I learned a lot from both sides.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Yeah, I got you. I think when people talk this capitalism stuff and all this money and stuff, I think Elder Yara made a good hell of a point. When Q brought up Tupac, and Tupac was talking about how you got all these millions of dollars and this one over here is broke, it ain't got nothing. Right. And then Elder Yara came back and said, well, goddamn, Tupac had millions of dollars. What did he do with it? That was a good comeback because Tupac had millions of dollars. Like, how you going to say something like that and you got millions, bro? Come on.
I don't think he had millions at the time. At the time he said all that, I don't think he had millions.
Right, but he still had it, though. He still had it.
Well, somebody said he passed away in debt. I could believe it.
He must have passed away in debt. But when he passed away, he had millions of dollars and his people reaped the benefits from it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I think somebody took a hold of remember? His mom was fighting to get somebody took all the rights to his music and stuff.
Yeah. Who got the rights to his music?
Huh?
Who got the rights?
I don't know. His mother passed away, but I think she was.
Yeah, Fanny Shakur passed away.
Yes, she did. Asar said Suge took it out of his account. Dang. The attorney had Dizali. Shout out to the family. Dizali said the attorney had it or whatever. I agree, Nepal. That's the truth. He was broke. Wow. Well.
Yeah.
No, he was
come in real quick. We'll open it up until get here. If y'all want to make a statement, Y'all welcome. Come on in, make a statement right quick. I'm gonna drop the link.
Oh, his sister has it. Says Federated States. He said his sister has it. All right. Yeah, come on in. Who do you think won the debate? What else? We have my debate.
Uncle will be here in a minute. Just give him some time. He had to drop off his people and he had to go get something to eat. But he said he's like 5 minutes away from his house. So 5 minutes been up, but we just wanted to get it started till he get in here.
Yeah, talk to the people. I have a debate coming up against Ryan.
Talk about that debate you got coming up.
We're gonna be debating, is Jesus the only human sacrifice that the God of the Bible is okay with? We already know that's not the only one, but he graciously accepted the debate, and so that will be going down on the 28th. As you see, there's no flyer for it. I don't get flyers made for my debates. Where's my flyer, sir?
Working on it. It should be ready tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on the picture from Ryan.
Oh, right. Ryan, get your picture sent. The 28th of this month. And it will be...
Okay, Ryan sent me the picture. He just sent it. I'm looking at it now. Keon, what it is, man? What's up?
Yo, what's good with y'all? Just wanted to keep y'all company since we just waiting on. Yeah, about the debate though. I just wanted to say this, right. I think that I love the debate, but I think both of them kind of didn't hit on what the topic was. I feel like Cube made more of an argument about how capitalism is bad more than how communism is good. Like, in my opinion, that was the only thing that I feel like Q did that was wrong per se. I still feel like he made a better argument though than Yara. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like Yara was just trying to push out just the fact that there's no examples, or there's no good examples of communism that's ever worked, or Marxism, Leninism, whatever you want to call it, that's ever worked out in society. So why should we even, give it any time of day? But it was still a good debate though. Who I think won? I mean, the people clearly said Cube won, which is crazy. Like, it was like 80-20 at one point, which was like, dang, I was like, I didn't think he was gonna win that bad. But I give it a Cube though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I give it a Cube. I give it a Cube.
What about you, Asar? You give it to Cube also, or to Yara? Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get to my I was leaning a little more towards Yara on that one, and I thought Cube and him did a pretty good job. My thing is, Cube will start to say, he'll be like, "Oh, that doesn't qualify. That has nothing to do with the argument."
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah,
you need to answer some questions, Cube. He got plenty to do to discuss. So that happens too often with Q. You got to start breaking the stuff down when the people don't understand, because most of the questions are pretty simple.
Did you ever debate Q, Asar?
We were supposed to, and you got cold feet. Q, what happened, my brother? With
what were you guys going to debate? Do you remember?
God exists, or does atheism?
Oh, right.
So and so.
That's one of his signature debates.
Boy, that's his sidestep, boy. That's his signature, boy.
Kept asking, and I started.
You know why? Because Q understands, like me, nobody can prove that God exists.
That's a fact.
See, Q nobody can prove it. Issues, right? Because
is this the real Lex Vortex? We need to know for sure.
That's so.
Because Sonetter, we got somebody in the back. You want to let him on? Because I don't know. Okay. Don't be an imposter.
Uh-oh.
Is this Lex?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, peace, Lex.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Look at who's here, the elusive Lex Vortex.
Hey, hold up. He goes away. Is he FBA now?
Uh-oh.
He's holy FBA.
The holy FBA.
The Codex.
He's like the locust. He'll come back and emerge from the. What's up, Lex? What you got going? How you been?
Yeah, I mean, how could I be anything but FBA? It's my lineage. I don't, you know,
Ah,
Nothing
y'all.
wrong with that.
I'm from America. People was I'm a Black American, and that is a distinct group of people with a distinct lineage. And anybody from that's a Black American is going against that right now. I just don't understand it. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. But I did want to comment on because capitalism is a topic that I actually introduced that topic to Q, but he came a long way. But Yara doesn't understand capitalism at all, and most people don't. It's a very they think when you hear capitalism, they think about is making money. So the people who want to make money, they automatically go, yeah, capitalism. That's because they think it want to. But capitalism is the reason you were enslaved. That was the highest form of capitalism,
Hey,
slavery.
hold on for 1 minute. Community skeptics. The link is at the top. It's pinned at the top. The link is in the chat, pinned at the top.
I'll drop it again, Senator.
Yeah. What up?
Um,
don't see no link at the top.
Yeah,
I dropped it just now.
all right, and we just dropped it again. It's in there.
I got it.
All right.
Yeah, so honestly, I felt like Cube, it was more like a classroom, and I understand the mentality because capitalism is an economic and political system. Like Fred Hampton said, racism is just an excuse for capitalism. So what they do is they use racism to mask capitalism because capitalism is about control of the markets and people and enslaving people. That's what it is. There's no incentive in capitalism for anything that has to do with contributing to society, anything that has to do with equity, anything with fairness. The bottom line of capitalism is to make a profit at all costs, and there's never a time when you just can't make a profit. And so the lemonade is going to get watered down a little more every year. And capitalism is the main tool of white supremacy because when you look at capitalism, they talk about what's called the free market, right? Meaning that the government is supposedly not to get involved in private business and affairs. They call that the free market. And that's what capitalism is supposedly based upon. Oh, we want private, but how you got a free market, and this is the trick they're playing on black people who support capitalism that think they want to make money. There's no free market.
All right, hold on, Lex Vortex. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you gotta get that pseudo off, yo.
We was holding it down for a minute.
Your mother's a pseudo.
Your mother a bitch, nigga. Now, nigga, your mother a bitch, nigga. Whole ass nigga.
Oh wow.
Now, hey, yo, I don't know why you put these crab ass niggas on here that don't care nothing about you anyway, yo. All you want to do is run his mouth and talk that talk, yo.
Yeah,
shit about you forever.
That's what I don't like when the people start doing that, man.
Hey, dude, this nigga said it first, yo.
Yeah.
He already know it's on site when we speak, yo.
Stay cool.
You know what it is.
Cool, brother.
No, I'm cool. I'm gonna come in hot like I supposed to.
Okay.
Get those away from me, yo. Let them niggas rock out on their own.
I didn't know y'all wasn't
cool. Y'all been talking about capitalism. He look like we in the 1800s, 1600s. Ain't nobody let no white people work them like that. We're gonna get our money, support our community, do our damn thing.
About.
Tripping, yo.
That's what I'm talking about.
You don't know what he talking about. We supposed to throw money away now? No, that's for broke niggas. He's a broke nigga talking crazy. Come on, bro. We're gonna save our money. We're gonna build our communities. We're gonna be self-sufficient.
Right.
We need resources. We on the corner selling incense all day long.
Right.
Don't feed to the system. So now I gotta be on the corner selling incense. I can't build a building, make incense in my building, and hire people. Come on, bro. Like this, that's their broke talk, yo. We ain't doing it, yo.
Yeah. All right. So, family, Nepal, introduce him. Let's go.
Everybody knows the House of Consciousness, the one and only Ankh, the God Killer, is here coming in hot. Peace, Ankh.
What's going on? How you doing? I'm coming in hot, and we're gonna calm it down, and we're gonna have a good conversation, man.
Yes, sir. So whatever you need, just let me know, family. Hit the like, share. When you're ready, you share, and I'm just here to to host whatever you need to do. So let us know when you're ready.
All right. So what I want to do is first thing I want to do is I want to let me get because I just was with my sons and them in this team. So
Okay,
drop
well,
them
while
off. So I
he's
want to get
moving,
this together. I want to set
got you.
everything up right. So
Okay.
I think what I'm gonna need here, I got my PowerPoints. Got you. So I got a couple PowerPoints, very, very short. Okay.
Okay.
And PowerPoint shouldn't be long
So
and
let me
drawn
let
out.
people know the title while you get that together. The
Okay.
weaponizing of Mediterranean Egypt. Why is Egypt a Mediterranean country? Ankh is going to break it down for us right now. So definitely, we are ready. Hit the like button. Get your pens and papers out, your notebooks, your recorders, however you keep the knowledge to yourself. Peace,
Okay.
Sonetta.
Nepal.
Yes,
People
sir.
don't use papers, pencils, and pens no more. they got iPads and the phone and all that.
And that's what I said. Whatever you do, I like to write stuff down. It helps me remember it. But thank you, Sonetta. You're hilarious. Okay, yes. So let's get it. Peace to my sister Gemini. I see you out there. Peace. Where's Sakina? Peace to my sister Sakina. All right, Unc. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready to share what you need to share.
Hold on, let me get everybody here. Let me share the link.
Keon,
Let Chuck share the link.
Keon says this seems like a dangerous topic, Unc.
No, I'm gonna use science and science literacy because this is my thing here. And people like to talk crazy and reckless, but if we're serious about getting our history together, then we need to use the tools that will help us get our history together.
And I
So,
just want to let you know, Unc, I always let you know, so you don't think it's a setup. Steve X could be in the
I
bush.
ain't talk. No, he can be in the bushes, but he's a
Yeah.
disrespectful
No,
little.
I'm not letting you talk to him, but I'm
Right,
just saying
disrespectful.
he's not coming up. He might be in the bushes.
Disrespectful.
So
I can't talk to him.
be careful what you say, brother.
No, he's the guy that argues for white Egypt. He had a debate with somebody arguing for black Egypt, and both of them are out of their minds right there. They're both fighting racist tropes, racism, white supremacy, all the way. So I'm gonna bring the clarity with the science and the science literacy, so we can understand what it is. This is a very, very important topic.
All right.
And the title of it is the weaponizing of Mediterranean Egypt. Okay, people will weaponize that against you. Okay, why is Egypt a Mediterranean country? And so the other side, one side gonna weaponize it against you, the other side is going to deny you. So I want to bring science to the table because it's best fit to answer the question. So like I said, if we're going to talk about Egypt, then we need to understand its geography. We need to know where it's at. Just like when we talking the biblical text, right? We need to know geography first. Most people read the Bible and don't understand geography. That's a bad thing to do. So now you got geography, then it has to be chronology. Most people read the biblical text and most people study ancient Egypt and they don't understand chronology, right? They don't understand the movement of population. They don't understand the flow of the river, right? They don't understand how ancient Stone Age people forms religion because they don't actually study anthropology, archaeology, genetics. We will use all these tools so that we can get our story correct. Why not use it? So first thing I want to start off with is this wild notion that people will have. Hold on, let me see. Let me get this. The wild notion is this. Let's see if I can find it. That quote unquote, wait, let me get it. Get all this off the computer real quick. The notion is, you using white man stuff. That's what they all say. Okay. All right. And in the same breath, 1 second, they'll talk about African people, right, are the first people on earth. And then say, I'm studying and I love Dr. Ben. They'll say all that, but then tell me that I'm using white people information. 1 second. Hold on. Goodness gracious. So I want to start off with Dr. Ben here, right? And if I can find it.
And mods, please, just keep the chat under control. Everybody, you speak your mind. We have tough skin over here, but don't cross the line. Shout out to Captain Tazariak and ISUPK. Don't cross the line, y'all. But yeah, we have a lot of people in here saying, let's see what this person says while we wait for Ankh to get his stuff up. He says, the Egyptians wrote about themselves. How do the scholars discredit the glyphs? I think he's going to cover all of this. Peace, Miss Tiffany. I see you. Don't. Does anybody deal with the Olmecs? Olmecs, y'all.
Yeah, we deal with the Olmecs. It's an indigenous society.
Okay. Are you gonna want them to come up? You said drop. I heard you say drop the link. Oh, he's muted.
I don't mind people coming up once
you get
everything. Presentation is done, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. It's just certain crabs that's been disrespectful to the women on my platform, right? They just can't come back from that. I don't play that, right? It's been people who very, very racist too. Like Chief X, he's a racist. The other day, he's supporting hanging and lynching. Yeah, have him come up here and talk about how lynching, right, was part of what white people just did. Like, get the hell out of here with that, right? I don't support that. What do you mean? So he does all that because this is the first time he really got some attention, and he get attention from the community that's in Egypt, and they racist too at times, right? And that's a hell of a back and forth right there. So I don't subscribe to telling people what or who they should call themselves. So if Egyptians, okay, and they fighting for their nationalism, and they don't consider themselves Arabs, they got a right to say they're not black. They even got a right to say they're not African. If they just say we just Egyptians, then everybody outside got to accept that. Simple as that. Let them people have their own agency. You might not think they're African because you don't understand the study. Hopefully after this study, you'll understand it. But Chief X, man, he's a racist, bro. Right? Not going for that. All right? That's a bunch of nonsense. And he's a guy that weaponizes Mediterranean. So if you don't understand the study, I'm going to give you the clear study. Okay? And so we'll know, don't be afraid of the word Mediterranean. I just want y'all to know that. We should not be afraid of that. Now, early on, prior to Chief X, in the 1800s, they weaponized that. Oh, the people come from the Mediterranean and form Egypt. All that was in the game. Scientific racism. This is clear on that. We got it. But now the tides have changed, and now we clearly understand what it is based off our elders, based off of a lot of good work. So let me see if I can open up the sample real quick. And I want to dispel when people say I'm using the white man stuff. Okay, let me go to the index right here. I would like to go to the index. If I can go to the index, okay. And what I would like to do is this. I want to show you, I'll just show you a little bit. Let me share the screen. So this is Dr. Ben's work, okay? And so while you telling me I'm using the white man this and the white man that, it's like it's clear that you're not actually understanding. You just not understanding the history. You're not understanding the story. You're not understanding what position African Americans was in. You're not getting none of this straight. So here is the selected bibliography, okay, in the back of his book, right? Plenty of white people. Sources, though, sourced up: Capitalism and Slavery, Eric E. Williams, History of Philosophy, New York. Okay, I could just keep reading on and on and on. Philosophy, London Press, The Rise of the Color Against the White World Supremacy, New York City, Tertullian. We got Hoover Smith, Man and His Gods, right? So race of Africa. So 1930, he's using old sources, up-to-date sources for his time, but he definitely got a few black authors, right? But for the most part, it's all white people. And the question is why? Because this is where the field was. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can make this bigger so y'all can kind of see this. Man, y'all should be able to. Can you make you can't make
I
that
think only thing I can do is put it on the big screen, but yeah,
yeah.
there we go. Maybe that's a little. You see the what about the magnifying glass? Does it work if you hit it?
Let's see. Yeah, that might no, that's
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
search.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I think
okay.
we can so you got race, you got sex and race, value 1 to 3, Joel A. Rogers. That's an African American. Joel A. Rogers got 3 of his books here. Africa, the Gift of America, Nature Knows No Color. These are old works. He got them in there. But from A to Z, right? The world it says the word Negro, its origin and evil use. Richard B. Moore, okay? The Hebrew origins. Theophile Meek, okay? The dawn of civilization, Egypt and Chaldea, New York. All right, he got books from Cambridge. Here you go. The History of the Arabs in the Sudan, volume 1 through 2, Cambridge Press. And so the elders in the community, the ancestors now, all right, they actually push forward literacy and science, but we spit on it. Meaning, once Dr. Ben and them, John Jackson, them got old, right? The next tier came, and they wasn't using sources. So like Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and all them, Delbert Blair, right? That's that next tier. They wasn't using sources no more. And this is when we enter into the conscious community, and of course it went online. And y'all should know the story. If y'all don't, y'all need to. We've done some shows on how the online conscious community actually got started. How Sarnetta was a part of it. I was a part of it. A few other people bought the thing online, right? Sarnetta was in the street selling DVDs. We went through all that, but I wanted to kind of give you the different tiers, and I wanted to bring this part back right here. I wanted to bring literacy to the community because I understood that at this particular time, nobody was using sources. So when you say I'm using the white man this and the white man that, you act like we was in slavery when a lot of these fields were starting to be produced. And I know you read on slavery, and I know you should have read on scientific racism. This stuff was real, bro. We could barely get into colleges, right? In certain places, it was illegal for the African to read, and it sure as hell was illegal for you to even know your own dad, go practice your own religion. That's on the books, okay? So it's you're not winning when you say I'm using white sources. I'm using what is available. Now we got African Americans in the field. Now we got continental Africans in the field, but still we got a whole misinformation campaign where the youth don't even want to get into literacy and science. Man, you know, they spit at me. They throw tomatoes at me for talking science all the time, right? And then they get mad when I'm not willing to mix it up, right? When in actuality, let science be science, let your philosophy be philosophy, and let your religion be religion, and keep it that way. Okay, so this is the Black Man and All His Family. Got hundreds of sources in the back, majority of them white people. So don't talk to me about that. All right. So now, I want to start this thing off with this source right here. Most people won't be familiar with it. Okay. All right. This will be on the screen. With this, it's an abstract, right? It's the Mediterranean, the Asian and African roots of the cradle of civilization. Okay, y'all look, copy the name, right? Take a screenshot of it. Helena Trinidad Lopez and Isabella Amenda. Now go ahead, take that and read the whole thing. But I want to read this portion right here. I want to read this to get this thing started right. Okay, so we know early settlers, early Europeans, when they first went to Africa, Napoleon Bonaparte to them. He takes a whole scientific expedition with him, and they run into an ancient civilization that was more ancient than their own, and they threw them back. They couldn't believe it, and it changed the whole way that they was thinking at that time. At that time, most of the world that was colonized by Europeans thought that humans came from the Garden of Eden, or you thought you came from your tribal story. And you thought that the biblical narrative was the beginning of the world. So when you go into a place like Africa and it was ancient, it threw them back, and then the debates start. They start using terms like, instead of saying it was older, they start saying this is different phases of time then. All right. We don't want to say, don't say it's older. They cut a deal with the job. Don't say it's older. Just say that's a different epic. That's the word. Just say it's a different epic. All right. Because it was confusing to them. Now, we don't live in that world like that anymore. It's clear. We understand how to clearly mark time. We understand about radiocarbon dating. We understand the age of the universe and the cosmos. But I'm talking about a time period where people that was colonized in European culture thought the world started in the Garden of Eden. So let me read this. It says the ancient Mediterranean world was not just influenced by its African and Asian neighbors, but was in fact defined by a profound communion. Okay, what's the communion here? Talking about African and Asia. It's at all levels. So we're talking about the levels that will form civilization. Between these different regions, it's in the 21st century, however, many European countries still insist in portraying themselves as direct heirs of the combined Greco-Roman and Judeo-Christian traditions, disregarding their African and Asian roots. As a result of this flawed self-perception, a gap between Europe, Africa, and Asia came to be, bearing deep consequences to the present. And we know what those deep consequences was: slavery, marginalized communities, and thinking because of the color of our skin, right, that we were some kind of animals, or not befitting of civilization. Now, with this contribution, we aim to reclaim the importance of these other legacies to the construction of the cradle of civilization. There you go. All right. This is a great read right here. The paper's talking about is giving you the insight on how Mediterranean culture started. Right? And so if you understand how Mediterranean culture started, right, then you won't be afraid of that word Mediterranean no more. So fundamentally speaking, Mediterranean culture is actually Western Asian culture and indigenous Nile Valley culture. And when the two come together, right, with art and literature, right, and trading goods, right, it forms a bustling culture in the damn Mediterranean over time, where Europe and Rome and Greece, right, they fed off of that, gave rise to those civilizations. So what I'm saying is that the Mediterranean culture, at its very foundation, right, of what it is, it's indigenous Nile Valley River culture and Western Asian culture, quote unquote, Sumer, Mesopotamia. See, we got to get that first. Now, Europeans weaponized that against us because they said it was the invading race theory. People from another place came into Africa and made Egypt. Chief X weaponized that. They're Mediterranean culture. They're Mediterranean culture. So if I pull up a Wikipedia article and say, what are the Mediterranean countries? Egypt will surely be a part of that. He'll use that, but not give you the proper chronology. Remember I talked about chronology earlier? He won't give you the proper understanding on what Mediterranean culture is. So I'm going to repeat this again. Mediterranean culture, okay, is indigenous Nile Valley culture and Western Asian culture. And they come together and form what would later on be considered Mediterranean culture.
Okay, let me just recap. So you said Western Asian culture.
Western Asia, that would be Mesopotamia and all those areas there.
Got it. And Northern African is Mediterranean culture.
I said indigenous Nile Valley culture.
Okay, with that, so that's where I'm kind of what's the difference between Northern Africa and indigenous Nile?
Because the Nile Valley is in Northeast Africa, and I refuse to allow people not to adhere to the rules and regulations of geography. It's a Northeast African culture. That's where the Nile River is safely fixed in Northeast Africa, not
Northeast.
just North Africa, but Northeast Africa. Right? Remember, I say we're going to adhere to the rules of science and geography.
Okay.
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 And
So,
so
go ahead.
Ethiopia, Eritrea is all in Northeast Africa. Am I correct? People will leave out the Ethiopians, Eritreans,
Can we
right?
look at a map, Unc, or no?
Yeah, pull them at. That's great.
I'll
Because I
grab
don't
one.
got one. Yeah, pull them. You got one?
I'll grab one right now. Now we're talking about a modern day one, right?
Yeah, it don't matter. Geography don't change. It ain't tectonic plates ain't shift.
Got it. So go ahead. You can continue. I'm gonna get the map.
Yeah, get the map up so we can see it. And that's why I want the people that consider themselves Hebrews, you should read your Bible with a map. That's my point. Read it with a map. Right? Refresh yourself in your geography. Okay. So we're forming culture based off of literacy, right? Okay. That would be writing. Where's the first writing at? The first writing, they go back and forth, right? I tend to say that the first writing is in the Nile Valley in Abydos, where they find trading seals at about 36,000 BCE. My fault. 3,600 BCE, somewhere in there, right? Some people say they like to say Mesopotamia. That's fine. They independently come up with these ideas independently, right? Right? But they both have writing. So now, since you both have writing, when they come together, then they can communicate, right? They both river societies, okay? Right? So they can form products and good. They can get products and goods up and down the river, all right? So yeah, that's you pulled up a map of the Mediterranean. All right.
I know. I was gonna see.
Pull up a Northeast African map.
Got you. Okay.
You type in Northeast Africa. All right.
Got it.
And so
Right.
now is my job, right? To show you how the culture moved to the Mediterranean. Right? Did the culture start in the Mediterranean or did the culture move towards the Mediterranean? Well, all we got to do is look at the map. We know upper and lower. We know that the lower is actually the upper portion, right? And the upper is actually the lower portion. We know that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We know that the Nile River is 4,100 miles long.
Okay. Now I don't know if this
and
one
it stretches into inner Africa. Hold on, here you go.
Excuse me. This one doesn't. What about this? No.
I like that.
Okay.
So Egypt, if you look at Egypt, Sudan, all right, Eritrea, Ethiopia, that's all in Northeast Africa, and then it goes, and then hell, Ethiopia is in sub-Saharan Africa. All right, but Egypt is in Northeast Africa. There you go. Okay, and as a matter of fact, if I did this, let me see. Oh man. 1 second. Hold on.
So,
all right, here you go. I got it open for you. Yeah, share my screen.
Yes. All right.
All right, here you go. All right. You see?
Yes.
There you go. All right. There you have it. Northeast Africa. There you go. So I'm not sitting here fighting over where Northeast Africa is. Okay. Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, as well as Egypt and Sudan. And there's a lot of range of people that exist in there. All right. So it is what it is. As a matter of fact, it's actually when we really start having the conversations about what a confluence is, most people don't know what the hell that is, right? You got you got Africa, you got Asia, right? And Europe, right? And they confluence right there. Okay. That would be a geographical confluence. So you got matter of fact, I'll get these terms so we can get this straight real quick here, right? So people just say the word confluence, but in actuality, you have several different types of confluences. So we just not gonna say confluence, right? Right? We want the Afro-Eurasian confluence. All right, let me see if I can share my screen and get this going here. Hold on
Thank you
real
for the
quick.
super chat, Moses. He asks, Ankh, their Bible shows Egypt all the way down to Ethiopia as Ham, meaning they're the same people.
Nope, that's a Bible. It's not a historical document. Although there may be historical events in the Bible itself does not fit the criteria of a history book. It's a cultural book.
Asar says confluence is just basically trading knowledge and goods.
I don't know what all that is. All right, so here we go, right here. Okay, you see that, right?
Yes.
Afro-Eurasian confluence zones, where Africa, Asia, and Europe intersect. All right. Now, you got a zone of population confluence, right? Located the Sinai Peninsula, Levant, and southeast Turkey. Intersection of 3 continents, Africa, Asia, and Europe, right? Corridor for early Homo sapien migrations. Cultural crossroads, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Canaan, and Hittites, okay? Origin of major world religions. Genetic admixture confirmed in ancient DNA studies, okay? So you also got geological and ecological confluence. African, Arabian, and Eurasia tectonic plates meet. It's a confluence. Got the Great Rift Valley and the R.I.S.E formation. Intersection of Africa, Eurasia, and the Mediterranean biomes. You got species migration routes intersecting here. All right, so that's a confluence. And you go to the White Nile and the Blue Nile, right? And that's also a confluence of rivers. So when you use the word confluence based off of the conversation, based off of the idea you're trying to transmit, you can have different types of confluence. There seem to be some misunderstanding around that. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just rivers and water. That's not true. Okay. So
Moses said another question. Thank you for the super chat. So a Bible says biblical people are African from Canaan to Ethiopia, but Ankh says otherwise.
yeah, the Bible don't say that.
Thank you for the super chat. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely don't say that. Okay, so now let me prove and verify my point, right? I want to start with the Great Green. All right, let me get this off here, and I'm going to start with the Great Green. Okay? All right, let me get the Great Green. Why'd you were? Hold on. All right, share the screen. Let me deal with the Great Green. Why is the Great Green important in this conversation? All right, because early hunter-gatherers, they get their sustenance from their geography, right? From the flora, okay? All right? Animals, they're eating plants, vegetables, okay? Rivers. So we call it the Nile Valley civilization, 1, because it's in a valley, and 2, is a river there, and the river was essential for their survivability. So that's the first thing you're going to do, is you're going to have to what? Secure food, clothing, and shelter. Before you make any prayers, before you do any of that, in those more ancient times when you naked, right? Humans in the raw, okay? Hey, man, you got to secure that, and that river gave them all of that, right? So the river is the basis of their civilization and culture.
Yes.
Not the ocean, not the salt water. They don't know how to process salt water. You're not drinking salt water. Stone Age people is not in the ocean traversing it like people think. You got to be able to navigate a river first, right? And then you can get to the point where you can navigate ships that could actually navigate the ocean, all right? So let's deal with this. Let's see, why'd you wear the Great Green in ancient Egypt? And let me share my screen.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Mandinka and Moses. Y'all gonna have to come up in here, and after Ankh is finished with this presentation, you know, we appreciate the super chats. I don't know if you want me to read all these super chats during your thing, but
no. Nope.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up this flow, family. I appreciate your super chats. I can read them at the end, or you can come in, or vice or both. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a chance. The money is important.
No, I'm totally about to read
Trust me.
them, but I didn't
Trust
want
me.
to mess up the flow.
Okay, so now, right, we see Wajware, okay, the great green of ancient Egypt. All right, this is for science literacy. All right, Egyptology education. Now, I'm using the tools of science, and so we come here now, making my point here. Did the Egyptians deify the Mediterranean Sea? Remember, I talked about early hunter-gatherer tribes and clans. They owned the Nile at least 300,000 years ago. I'm going to say this now. Human beings occupied the Nile Valley 300,000 years ago. You can go right to the Brooklyn, you can go, not the Brooklyn Museum, you can go to the British Museum, right? And they got sites, archaeological sites, right? And they talk about that. I could put it up later on. So did the Egyptians deify the Mediterranean? This would give us the level of importance that ocean played for them. It would end up being very important, right, in the later time periods, and we'll get into that. Okay, so no formal deification, okay, like the Nile. So the Nile was actually deified, okay, and we know the deities, right? The Nile. Now, it said the Mediterranean was called Wajware, okay, the great green, sometimes personified in a minor text, but no major cult or worship. So there is no major cult or worship based in the Mediterranean Sea. This is a clue for those who study anthropology. This is a clue for those who study ancient Egyptian culture. What I found out is most people don't really want to know what the culture was. John Henry Clark said, he talked about great river societies, whether that be in the Nile Valley, right? Whether that be in West Africa, they was river societies, meaning their culture, their livelihoods, dependent on the Nile, and thus their religion comes out of that. It comes out of their farming traditions. It does not come out of the color of their skin. You can't eat skin, not unless you go on cannibal. But you can sure as hell eat those plants that's growing based off of that black soil, okay, just spilling out of that daggone river. So the river becomes sacred and divine, and they have cults based around that. Okay? And let's move forward. It appears in it says Wajware in Egyptian text appears in the pyramid text and the Book of the Dead, occasionally shown as a male deity with water pots. Okay? More a cosmological concept than an active god. The Nile versus the Mediterranean. The Nile, Hapi. Y'all know what Hapi is, right? That's the god of the Nile. Central, right? Central to Egyptian culture. Deified, life giver. Mediterranean, Wajware, okay? Peripheral, no formal cults. You know what the word peripheral means? It's on the outskirts of their culture in those early days, okay? Mediterranean associated with foreign lands, trade, and threats. So from those areas in Mediterranean, a lot of threats would come from that area. So it was associated with foreigners, not indigenous people. Why no Mediterranean deification? The Mediterranean was not central to agriculture or daily life. Not in the early days. It's seen as external to Egypt, sacred geography. It says associated with foreign invasion and distinct lands. What's the scholarly consensus? Wajware was a recognized cosmological entity, but not an active deity in the Egyptian religion. And we have our sources here. J.P. Allen, Middle Egyptian, Wilkinson. It says the complete gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Okay. And we got Baines, J. Baines. So take a picture of these sources, right? Get a copy of it and go through the work. So the point I want to make here, very central to my conversation is, all right, is that our first line of evidence is that the Mediterranean Sea was not essential in fostering ancient Nile Valley culture. So it would be wrong to say that ancient Egyptian culture started in the Mediterranean. It did not. It started right along the Nile, which goes 4,100 miles into Africa. We can pull that back up again. Let's pull that back up again. All right. You got your map?
The one that I showed you earlier?
Yeah, because we can look at the Nile River and see just how deep it goes into Africa.
There wasn't a Nile. I can get one with the Nile on it.
Lake Victoria, right? That's all of it. And I'm not saying that people from Lake Victoria started ancient Egypt. I'm not saying that. I'm simply making a point that the river, right, empties into the Mediterranean, right, but runs along that valley in Africa. All right. Okay, so I'm bringing my evidence here.
Okay, so let's see what do you think about this map right here? Let's share this. Northeast Africa with the Nile into the Mediterranean. Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see that. There you go. It empties the river empties to the delta into the Mediterranean. There you go.
Right.
There you have it. So there you go. Okay, so all this is culture. Those different polities up and down the river, okay, will give rise to one of the oldest polities on planet Earth. All right, so my next line of evidence. We almost finished here.
You want me to take this down?
Yeah, you can take that down. Now I want to run my next. I want to talk about Alexandria. 1 second here. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Alexandria. Okay. Bustling city.
Yeah, so we just saw that on the map.
Oh, no.
Okay, and let me see if I could just let me read this one right here, this super chat. Moses 777, thank you, says, why is Unc calling? We already read that about the Sphinx. I think I read that one. JJ says, Mandinka said, you just see me beat Chief X on this topic. Why are you jacking 7,000 swag?
Now he didn't beat Chief X. Chief X said the Egyptians was white. He said the Egyptians was black, and they was both racist and wild with it. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna say Mali is a race. I don't want to call him a Chief X is, but I'm saying the scholarship was incorrect on both sides of it. They was both weaponized in certain parts of it. And I'm saying that's not how you can do that. That's not what we doing around here. So now we in the city of Alexandria, the Hellenistic city in Egypt. This is not an indigenous city. We all make the mistake and say the Great Library at Alexandria that had nothing to do with the indigenous people. As a matter of fact, the indigenous people was marginalized in Alexandria. If you look it up, in Alexandria, it actually sleets. You know what sleet is? Sleet is snow and rain.
Rain and water.
No naked people is living in a place that will sleet and rain. Let's get that straight.
Rain and water. I meant to say ice and water, which is like, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Point blank. Look it up. Okay. So now, the founding of Alexandria, founded in 331 BCE by Alexander the Great, built on Egypt's Mediterranean coast, west of the Nile Delta, geographically within Egypt. So yes, Alexandria is in Egypt, okay, but it doesn't seem to be a part of it because it's the Greeks. It's not an indigenous city. Okay, let's move forward. Ptolemy period, 332 to 300 BCE. Capital, it became the capital of Egypt under Greek Ptolemies. Okay, the Sotairs. Okay, culturally, a Greek Mediterranean city. There we go. Large Greek, Jewish, and Egyptian population. Indigenous Egyptian populations were marginalized. Just like we're marginalized in America, right? They was marginalized in Alexandria. It was overthrown at that point. Roman and Byzantine period, 300 BCE to 641 CE, annexed into the Roman Empire after Cleopatra the 6th, the 7th. It's an administrative center of Rome, Egypt. Intellectual hub, Library of Alexandria, and Christian theology. Islamic period after 641 CE present. Arab conquest shifted the capital. All right, Cairo. It said Alexandria remained within Egypt throughout Islamic, Ottoman, and modern times. Scholarly consensus: Alexandria was also geographically part of Egypt, but was founded as a Hellenistic colony serving foreign ruling elites, culturally distinct from the indigenous Nile Valley traditions. We have our sources. Ptolemy Alexander, Fraser, Egypt and the pharaohs, Baldwin, Imperia, Alexandria, rediscovered. Picture those scholarly sources. So let's recap this. I've showed that the Mediterranean Sea, okay, was not at the formation of Nile Valley code. That's why they call it Nile Valley, because it's in a valley and it's the river. It's a indigenous African river culture. Like they got the river boats, like they fishing, okay? They're farming on the banks of the river based off of the overflowing of the soil. There's a big crazy debate raging that the black soil, talking about the black skin, no, it's the black soil, right? That gave rise to a lot of their spiritual and social systems, okay? Gave rise to that farming community, which is embedded in a social, cultural, religious system. They skin ain't embedded in it. That's how we know that the skin wasn't valued like skin is to us today. We value skin color today based off of colonialism. In the 1700s, they made up white people. Prior to the 1700s, one nobody called white people. And when they made up white people, they made up the word black people, and they put the white people at the top, put you at the bottom, and they produced a system, right? Systematic racism that put people with darker skin on the bottom and people with white skin on the top. Man, that's wild and crazy. It's hard to fathom living in America, not to always judge things based off the skin color. I understand that. But once again, we're talking chronology and we're talking an ancient population. And you know what anthropology is today? They say is let the ancestors speak. Let the ancient cultures speak for themselves. African Americans will speak for the ancient Hebrews. African Americans will speak for the ancient Egyptians. African Americans will speak for everybody, but then claim to want to know their history. If you really want to know your history, study the documents. Allow the people of that particular time period to tell their story. This is where anthropology is today. Now, back in the day, anthropology was putting their Christian Muslim views on ancient Egypt and ancient civilizations. Oh, they ain't got no religion. Them Africans ain't got no religion. They said all that. Yes, Africans did have. We had some of the oldest religions and traditions. I know you don't like the word religion, but religion is simply a social cultural system of ideas and deifications, right? Some religions may have gods in it. Some religions may not. Some religions may honor ancestors. Some may not. It's a tapestry of different things and different elements of culture to come together. Wedding ceremonies is part of your religion. Mm-hmm. All these things, festivals, traditions. And oh, by the way, customs, festivals, traditions come out of the river society in the Nile Valley. The culture moves towards the daggone river. Okay, I mean, my fault, towards the Mediterranean. Now, let's recap. Why can you say today, look it up on Wikipedia and say, Egypt is a Mediterranean culture? But now we understand what Mediterranean culture is now. Mediterranean culture is indigenous, river African culture and Western Asian culture coming together, communicating ideas through art, through trade, using language, and commerce. That's Mediterranean culture. So the Greeks, the Romans, and later Europeans, right? They got to show some love, because without that foundational work of medicine and science, right, that you find in traditional African culture and in Western Asia, there is no Rome, there is no Greece. That's not they because if you understand, that's why I make it so serious for you to understand what science is. Science ain't a leap over nature. Science is actually a detailed study of nature, right? And if you get a step right, it's like a game. You ever played the puzzle game? You go in the room, right? And you look around for the clues. If you get the right clue, boop, another door open, right?
Right.
If you don't get the clue, you stay in that room all day long. That's what science is. You will stay in a room all day long for thousands of years. Humans stay stuck on the daggone house in the house. Listen, humans stayed stuck in a house for 350,000 years. They started getting off the porch at about 70,000 years ago. I mean, no, leave out the house and get to the porch, and they looking. You got to develop clothes to get to more colder areas. Temperatures start changing. Remember, they naked. Got to start developing shoes and stuff of that nature. So they developed technology right around clothes and stuff and food stores, and the great invention of the pottery, the oldest such industry in West Africa, is one of the greatest inventions known to mankind. Them pots, now you can put those gathering grains and stuff and fruits in them pots, and them insects can't eat it up. Now you can have extra food stores. Big up to the sisterhood that invented the daggone pots, because it wasn't the men, it was the women.
That's right.
And those early pots had certain designs on it. So they may even have push forward language conveyed on pots. We could talk about that, right? But in that room, they stay stuck in the damn house. I'm thinking they probably was in the kitchen. Then all of a sudden you explore the rest of the house. So you walking around, you bumping into stuff, you looking at and you look out there and you see a porch, but you gotta get the right clues. You gotta have some clothes now, bro. You gotta have something, because you can't now. You going up in areas like I said where it be sleeting a little bit and raining a little cold now. See, I didn't know that. So you get past that step. Now you start your adventure, right? Your weaponry has to be a certain way. Okay, they conquered the world with the African spear, the bow and arrow. So if you don't have that spear and that bow and arrow, the animal's going to tear you apart. You ain't barehanded out here. Okay, that's important. And so science is steps. And so humans, they get to the porch, right? And they make it all the way to America, okay, which is the damn porch. And then they start to look across the damn street. What's across the street? Space. They don't actually get up into the space. Russia's the first to put a manned flight in space. Sputnik.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting across the street now. All right. How long did that take? Herman's been here for 350,000 years. Think about that for a minute. So when y'all disrespect science, you disrespect your ancestors, because your ancestors is the foundation of science. If you take away the ancestors, there is no science. It does this. Poof. All the clues leave. Poof. And you got to start over again. And it was that separation of your religion from science that actually took off. Just so happens it took off with Europeans. But Europeans can't take off, not unless what? Not unless they're in the Mediterranean culture, right? In the Mediterranean culture, they start to learn about the herbs and the medicines, right? We know about Onesimus. We understand what he brought from West Africa, okay? We know what he brought. He brought virilation. What's virilation? It's the first stage to get the vaccines.
Yeah.
Right? You make a person sick to make them healthy. I'm gonna say this again. You get a person sick so they can defend themselves against the pathogen. That sounds crazy. So you saying get a person sick? That's a step to learn. Because we sitting here saying you tripping. You mean you want me to get sick based off of something that's killing us so we don't die? It's counterintuitive. You will never understand that. Understand the steps of science. So that's what Onesimus brought to the table. And Boyston is a Harvard doctor, and they do these first. They do these first. The gold standard. They start to do these clinical trials, and they start to put the numbers together. Okay, 75 years later, from 1703 to probably 1790 or something like that, and then you get Edwin Jenner. He develops the first vaccine. Okay, but that early technology come from Africa. For everybody talking crazy about that, man, that's an African innovation. That's an African step that allowed the world to get to the next step, that allowed the world to get to the mRNA vaccines. But if you take away those early Africans off them slave ships and coming to America, the slave colonies in America, they was not worried about smallpox. And the white boys were saying, why are you not worried about that? Oh, we got medicine for that. We good. They was like, what? Yeah. Okay. Take that away. You don't got the mRNA vaccines. Take away the spear. You don't got the intercontinental missiles. Take away not the plier. You don't got NASA. Right? You're not getting into space without being able to do what? Observe the stars and the heavenly bodies. Proto-astronomy. You do not get to space without proto-astronomy. You do not get the mathematical study astronomy without proto-astronomy. If you take away proto-astronomy, you just killed astronomy. Right? What is astronomy? Astronomy it's not astrology, right? It's mixed together. Humans didn't know they was mixing it together. Are you tripping? They didn't know. They had little math with it. They had a little math with the proto-astronomy, little math, right? And these Babylonian priests would make certain, oh yeah, well, you know, when the moon is here, this king will be certain. They did all that, and they still made their calculations on their map and all that. But guess what? The Greeks actually, separated. Now you got astronomy. Astronomy don't got none of that mixed in with it. Strictly mathematics, and the Greeks are the first to do it, but you can't do it without the early ancestors not apply it, and you can't do it without being spooked out, because you got to be spooked out, because Homo sapiens sapiens are spooked out. That's why we fight so much around here, because we have a Stone Age brain that's spooked out. Back to the lecture at hand. So the next time somebody say Egypt was a Mediterranean civilization, you say, yeah, yo, but what's Mediterranean culture then? If they can't explain to you what Mediterranean culture is, right? If they can't explain to you how the indigenous Nile Valley River culture moved to the Mediterranean and built ships to be able to traverse the daggone sea, if they can't explain all that, then tell them to get the hell out your face and stop voting that damn racism. Now go ahead and lit these people up, man. That was in. Yeah.
All right, y'all.
I want to get a history through the lenses of science and science consensus, right? It's just how we do it around here, right? Y'all need to take some notes. When you come up with the damn PowerPoint shit, don't have 50 slides. That means you don't know your material. You don't need 50 slides, about 5 or 6. 5 or 6 slides, you know your material.
Thank you so much, Unc. We got our brother Rakufu in here right now. I think this is Neil. Are you there, brother? Rakufu. Calling Rakufu. Yeah, he was back there for a minute. I want to just clarify for myself. I was listening. So is the Levant, what about that? Is that not, that's cut off from Mediterranean, right?
No, that's right there in the Mediterranean.
Okay, so that's still the Mediterranean. Okay.
Yeah.
Just have to double check. All right. Peace, Asar. Asar, there you are, Rakufu.
Ain't none of them mad at me. Today, they not mad at me today.
I love our presentation. I love his presentation. Only one thing that I wanted to just say. Listen, when you said that the Mediterranean goes all the way down to Lake Victoria, I got it.
No, I didn't say that. That's a mistake.
No,
that's what I was telling you, Rakufu. When he said it, he was saying that it starts in the south and then it goes down north.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Where everything else is
the river. Yeah. So that's just for clarity. We cool. I was saying that the river goes all the way into Africa. We know it starts in Africa though. But go ahead.
Also, and going out towards the Mediterranean. Yes, but like Dr. Ben did say, the cultures went downstream. So as you can see, the culture, Upper Kemet and all this is downstream as it comes to the Mediterranean. So in fact, it was Nubians and black-skinned people. Like we can say Chinese are yellow-skinned people. We can claim Africa as a black culture. I mean, Egypt.
I don't want to argue that because the anthropology already says it's dark-skinned people in Egypt. Nobody says that.
Okay.
Like,
well, there it is. Ain't nothing to argue about. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to talk.
Look, your favorite person, Hawaus. He said, yeah. He said, Upper Egypt. That's what he said. Upper Egypt, yeah, they dark-skinned.
He
No,
said
they
it.
said they're white, but they're nigger. They're
Yeah,
not
he said.
nigger.
I'm about to say.
He
He
said they
said
not
that.
niggas. He said they not niggas. He said they dark. He said they black. They
Yeah.
dark, but they not niggas.
Wow.
Yes.
Negros.
With
Yeah,
the
he said that.
ER.
He messed that up, didn't he? That was funny as hell.
So I
But
liked your presentation for the most part. I'm
Okay.
going to say two things though, because the term Mediterranean needs to be left between Pakistan and India where it began. The second thing I would say is well, let me give you some props first. The confluence of the area, very important to know, because that's where people start to intermingle, talk and discuss and do marketplace. And Egypt was the major hub for that. And starting in Naphtha Playa, this is the part that needs to come home. When it begins, none of them are there, but the Nehesi. So when you talk about like William Steibling, for instance, him and Susan Helft, when they start talking about, and these are your archaeologists on the scene, when they start talking about the origins, they say Nubians and other Saharan populations are the beginning. And then you start to get Arabian, Levantine, North African, Indo-European, etc., a little later in Egypt's long history. But they start the prehistoric with Nubians, and they do this because when we go to Dynasty 0, you only have Nehesi kings. So this is why I say Nubians, and they do this the love and the glory to Africa like we're supposed to, and talk. Even like when you go into Nubio-Egypto studies, they can't separate in most dynasties the Nehesi from the Egyptian, from the Kemet. So I think it needs to be pushed more that it starts deep in the south, walks its way down north, and then you start to get that confluence that you were discussing and bottleneck issues where people may invade or come through with beef, and a compromise may take place.
And Ark said it best when he said that they had to master the rivers before the ocean, and the streams, the currents come from Lake Inyanza and Wanza, falsely called Lake Victoria, to that area what we call the Mediterranean. So the people did go upstream, and the border was a lot easier than paddling against, like Brother Johnson said, they had to paddle back. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily agree with everything to make Egypt starting in the south. I think it's 4,100 miles long a river. They had trade along that river, and there's different polities on that river that would later on come together to form the oldest first city state in polity. That I would say that, and I would talk about the sacrificial kingship. I think this is important for me because the kings, and I talk about this, it's in a book right here. Y'all can read it. It is The Dawn of Everything, the New History of Humanity. All right, David Wengrow. All right, this is a great book. I mean, I know y'all might not want to tackle it, right? Long read, but talk about the sacrificial kings. So the kings start with like taboos, kingship, okay? Like somebody's willing to do something you're not. And one of those things was to actually, when the king died, took the subjects with him. The oldest tradition of that you find on the Nile Valley, you find that amongst the Nilotic people, you find it amongst the Nubians, right? And they still was doing it. Okay, you find it in the first and second dynasty in Egypt, and then somebody was like, I ain't doing that, right? And so for me, the kingship would be started out with those chieftains that were sacrificing their subjects, right? And actually, Egyptians continued to do it, but they didn't really do it after the second time. Meaning, they would put like different Washapti or different. You probably know the name of Saw. They would put different statuettes and stuff in there. When the king died. So they were still doing it. It's almost like Christianity. So early humans, sacrificing was part of the damn game anyway. Yeah. The Christians get away from the sacrificing, like the Hebrews were sacrificing, right? And they say Jesus is sacrifice. I'm trying to show y'all the connection. And so the Christianity wouldn't be the oldest thing because they're not killing nobody.
Right? You would have to go to those ancient populations where they were sacrificing people.
Yeah.
And that kingship, I'm going to always go with that. The kingship, and we got the work right here, right?
Yeah.
Got the archaeological survey. I would say that the kingship would start down amongst the melodic people. But then there's other elements too that it didn't start down south. But that's my...
So let me go with Apostle. Apostle is here. Let's go, Apostle.
Hold up, son. Hold on 1 sec. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pinpoint it for you because the Congo is where they first do. When the king passes away, you gotta go with him. Them and the Zulu culture, they both have those things. In fact, you can go watch an episode of Shaka Zulu right now, and you can watch it go down right there in the movie. But Congo is where they have it real heavy, and Zulu and Xhosa people is where they have it second heavy. And then this is why I say start with Dynasty 0. This is before we get to Narmer and Company, because you have Irihor, right? You have Scorpion,
the Kim,
about 5 kings. They're all nasty. I'm gonna end my plane right there. I ain't going to attack you. Good presentation, my brother.
No, you ain't. Hey, I'm tight with my game. You ain't gonna be able to attack me because I know you can go to North America and find that same tradition. I'm saying wherever you find the people dying with the king, that's the origin of the kingship.
All right, let me bring in Apostle. This might be out of your range, Apostle, being that you are a Bible thumper. So let's see what you got. Let's go, Apostle.
Yeah, let's get y'all to mute up real quick. I don't want no interference. So if everybody can mute up while I'm speaking,
you don't have no echo. That's crazy. You good?
Okay. I think that Russia Sputnik wasn't a spaceship; it was a satellite, if I remember. But the first thing they threw in space was a dog.
Okay, I said the first manned flight. I said the first manned flight.
Huh?
Said the first manned flight was Russia.
Oh man, yeah, he did. First
man. They put the first man, and then that's when the United States got serious. That's when science was important in the 60s.
Right.
You couldn't even get elected to the president if you wasn't supporting science literacy. Now it's just some nonsense.
Right.
Yeah. Now it's nonsense.
But the Chaldeans were doing astronomy, not astrology, but astronomy before the Greeks was on the scene.
No, you made that up. You don't understand the conversation.
No, I didn't make it up.
Yeah, you made it up. Not on purpose.
Now, my evidence would be scripture, but
okay, but listen. That's why I talked about steps. You can respect this. You don't have a damn Bible without the development of writing, do you?
How can you? Well, no.
See, just say you're right. Say, of course not, right? And you can understand. And you understand that, right? Hold on. You don't have mass production of the text after you get the writing together, after you get the papyrus and making the paper together, after you get all that together, then you need Gutenberg to mass produce it.
Right.
So you can't have nothing mass produced like that with typeset and all that without Gutenberg in 1440. You can understand the transitions they have, right? You got 1440. Gutenberg.
Nah, you need 400.
No.
Yeah, Gutenpress was invented in the 4th century.
1440.
Right after the Vulgate Bible was printed. The Vulgate Bible was written in 398 in Gothic.
Hold on.
In the 400s, Gutenpress was invented.
Hold on. Could be wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong.
Okay, so what? You know what? And it's okay to be wrong.
I'm not.
It's okay to be wrong. Hold on. No, we good. Come on, man. Let's get back to the subject, bro.
Yeah, I'm not challenging you, man. I'm just correcting that.
You correct, right? You're supposed to correct that. Absolutely. Right. Bro, if I'm wrong.
It says 1440 in Mainz, Germany.
Right. Shut up. Yeah, shut up. 1440, like I said. Nah, get out of here with that. Get out of here.
It says Johannes Gutenberg, a German goldsmith, is credited with inventing the Gutenberg press around 1440 in Mainz, Germany.
Yeah, now I got it. Now I can't listen to you now.
I tell you what, when I come back,
being nice.
Let's move forward.
Now let's move forward.
It was in the 400s.
Man, those damn Greeks print no type press. Yo, come on, the Romans wasn't.
No, that was in the 1400s.
Yeah, come on, yo. You
Okay.
That's how the Bible start going rapid through the written Bible in different languages start going throughout Europe because of the printing press.
I can't even trust you no more.
Yeah,
man.
but the
Go
first
ahead.
written
Go ahead.
Bible
Get your point.
wasn't in Greek either. It was in
Okay,
Latin.
move on. I ain't gonna showboat on you.
But
Go ahead.
no, I'm gonna move on from that because
because you got
I
wrong.
want to talk about this thing about Homo sapiens sapien, walking the earth.
Huh?
You said
What?
300s
350,000 350,000 years.
300-some thousand years ago.
In Morocco, 350 in Morocco, 260 in South Africa, 190, 200,000 in River.
Is that Homo sapien, man, or is that some other?
That's Homo sapiens, anatomically modern human, slightly archaic at in Morocco.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
yeah.
though. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't not modern human, but we can go with that.
He is modern humans, man. Come on.
But the Mediterranean, is any coastal country starting at Portugal and coming all the way around to Africa, the coastline of Africa, which is across from Portugal. So any coastal country that's around the Mediterranean is considered a Mediterranean country.
So we cool with Egypt being a Mediterranean country, right? Didn't I say that? I said we cool with that. I don't run from the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Cool with that. But hold on. But what made Mediterranean culture though? Can you tell us, listening to what I did? What made it?
What made it?
Yeah, what made Mediterranean culture that would end up being the foundation of religions and all that? What's the first communication in the Mediterranean? What group of people?
It provided you need water.
No. What group of people made that culture though?
The Mediterranean before the dividing of the continents, the Mediterranean was fresh water.
No, bro, I ain't talking about.
Whoa.
What
people?
Way back.
What? When the ocean flowed into the Mediterranean.
Man, I don't know what the hell you talking about. I don't believe you can't even get Gutenberg.
Right, hold on, everybody. We got a packed house tonight. Let me move on over to the next speaker. Octavius Prime is in the building.
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? I just want to say, it's like we was taught this in third grade when it came down to ancient Egyptian history, that they contributed to the Mediterranean culture. And even there's the pharaonic statues that were found in Greece that you could see they have dug up out of the seas and the islands and I think even in Cyprus you could see these stone monuments that were Egyptian in style. And also we was taught in third grade that how they built the temples in Greece, it all was influenced by ancient Egyptian culture. So and also I would like to say, as far as DNA, it is in the science that we are related. We are sub-Saharan African, you know what I mean? And these people were the same race and they have the same Y chromosome, mitochondrial DNA as us. And we actually are cousins or related to them in general. So when you look at the DNA in general, they are African. They're just as much as African as we are.
What are you talking about?
The ancient Egyptians.
Yeah, the ancient Egyptians are indigenous African, bro.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
I'm definitely saying that.
They ain't related to us though, which is cool. But we
the thing is they have the same, as far as Y chromosome, and even the modern day ancient Egyptians, according to science, are more closely related to us than the ancient ones were, according to science and DNA. And also, when you think about, the thing is, what I don't like when a lot of conscious people talk about ancient Egyptians or ancient Egypt. I'm not just talking about you in general. But the thing is, what you're talking about, 3,000 years of information, and it's hard even in modern history. It's hard to even get past Rome, from Rome to now. You know what I'm saying? From ancient Rome to now, 2,000 years ago.
I know why you jumping. You jumping. Hold on for a minute. You jumping.
No, I'm saying the thing is, like, as far as the dynasties. Hold on, bro. Let me just say, as far as the dynasties.
Hold on for a minute. Listen, bro. You might not know me, and I'm learning you, but I'm not gonna sit here and have an incoherent conversation. You didn't went from DNA, how to connect, right? Probably on the PN2 marker, right? Connect, right? Okay. But I said that we not the ancient Egyptians, though, and that's okay. And then I made a statement that the ancient Egyptians are indigenous Africans. Okay. So, but just like Europeans want to, or Greece or person from Poland, they take their classical civilization. We can say the same thing. But when we really get into the anthropology of it and getting dead serious with the study, we West and Central Africans. That's okay. Right. And we celebrate all of Africa. We could do that too if we want. But I'm not going to sit up here on this panel and say that the ancient Egyptians is like my primary ancestors. I'm not going to say that. That's
I'm not saying they're the primary ancestors so far as Y chromosomal DNA. No, we are related to them, period. We are related to them. So, yeah, we are related to them. Yes, we share a common DNA. And because we share a common DNA, I say, yes, they are Africans. So when the chief justice was up here talking about they're not Africans, if the DNA would to contradict what he was saying.
No, he's bring his, he's a racist, bro. Don't bring his argument to the conversation. It'll mix you all up. It'll have me and you arguing over something that I ain't even saying.
Oh, no, I'm not saying. No, right, I'm agreeing with most of everything that you said. But what I would say is 3,000 years of information condensed into just like the ancient Egyptians as a whole is as if they wasn't invaded, as if there wasn't cultural, like where they moved around, they migrated, you know what I mean? Moved throughout Northern Africa at certain points. The founding people at one point, the Punt people of Somalia ruled Hatshepsut. You know what I'm saying? She was not.
The Punt ruled
they ruled ancient Egypt.
No, you made that. Come on, yo.
Oh, okay.
No.
And you go to Somalia today. If you go to Somalia, hold on, because you don't know this. If you go to Somalia today, they have what's called the Pharaonic people. No, bro, listen.
Octavius, I'm not
listening. Okay, do you know? Okay, can you Google it? What race was she then? What race was she? What race was Queen Hatshepsut?
Slow down, bro.
I'm asking you. What tribe was she from? What tribe was she? What tribe was she?
You yelling, man. I can't do.
Look it up.
You got.
No, I'm saying you need to look it up.
No, all right. Hold on for a minute, Octavius. What are you saying,
I'm saying that the daggone Somalians didn't rule Egypt. Punt didn't rule damn Egypt. That's what I'm saying. There's no evidence of that. He made that up, and I don't want to argue over something that's supposed to be clearly known.
Okay, the ancient Egyptians described as Punt as the land of beauty, wealth, and divine origin. And Queen Ati of Punt, shown in Hatshepsut's relief, is depicted as a dark-skinned, large-bodied, elaborate, adorned. They ruled ancient Egypt at one point. It wasn't just one. It wasn't one.
No, where's that source at? You didn't read that part. Where's that part that says she ruled Punt? I mean, that a Punt queen ruled Egypt. And what dynasty was that? Why? Why are we doing?
Let me pull it up. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me look it up.
Yeah, no, and make sure you put that source in the daggone thing too. Because I don't trust it.
Share your screen.
Yeah, I don't trust
Hold up.
Bro. Yeah, you doing too much.
Let me look it up real quick. You talk to somebody else. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll let you know when I got it.
All right. Hey, Asar, let's get it. Asar 7. You got it, brother. Let's go.
Peace to you, Sarnetta.
Peace, brother.
Peace to you, my brother Unk.
Black guy from Power.
Peace to you, Rakufu. Peace to you, Apostle. Peace to you, my brother Asar M. Ka. My brother Octavius Prime, and my brother Moses 777. To everybody in the chat, I want to say, man, Unk, you did another great presentation, man. I learned a lot from what you presented tonight, and you actually gave me new perspective on certain things. No one could argue that Egypt is a Mediterranean country right now today. I don't think you could argue that. I have some questions for you. Would you say that
he's in the Mediterranean though? It's in the Mediterranean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And trade back and forth
That's
with
why
each other.
That's why, I mean, right there on the coastline, all of those countries, Mediterranean coastline.
Hey, you want to hear
I
something
don't have
funny?
no argument
You,
against
you
that.
want to hear something
Um,
funny? Hold on, you want to hear something funny? I
yeah,
already knew. See, Chief X weaponized the shit, right?
yeah. I was gonna go on to that
Early
point.
Egyptologists weaponized that Mediterranean shit, right? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be so they make us we fight so hard against the shit that it make
No
us damn
profanity, no
near
profanity,
okay. We fight so hard against it, right? That we damn near damn ain't a cuss word. We fight so hard against the racism that was in early Egyptology. They weaponize it against us that today our responses make it seem like we ignorant. Why am I saying this? We should not be afraid of the Mediterranean. Hell, Egypt ruled the Mediterranean. Hell, Mediterranean culture is
Facts.
actually indigenous Nile Valley culture mixing with Western Asian culture. And when
Asia
the two
culture.
correspond together, it becomes Mediterranean culture. So that's what I want y'all to get out of this, right? Because then I would ask you what people was reading and writing in the Mediterranean before Sumer and before the Nile Valley. You don't know because it ain't nobody writing. Okay, who was shipbuilding prior to that? No, you don't have no name. Ain't nobody there. I'm not saying there's not humans there. I'm saying they ain't hit that. They ain't hit that metric yet. They ain't there. They there.
Well,
They get ran right over. So the culture, the very formation of the culture is indigenous river culture and Western Asian culture. And we put them two things together when they correspond, when they mix back and forth, you get Mediterranean culture. So I sit back and laugh when people say, hey, Mediterranean. I'm like, well, hell, Mediterranean culture is indigenous river Nile Valley culture and Western Asian culture mixed together. I gave you all the sources to read. So I ain't scared of that word. It took a minute. It's going to take a minute to get through your head because people like Chief X have weaponized that shit against you. And you thinking as soon as he say Mediterranean that he's saying it ain't African, then he said it ain't African, right? Here's another point we got to get past. When I say to you that Japanese are Asian, Japanese are Asian. The Koreans are Asian. The Koreans are Asian. The Chinese are Asian, right? Caucasus Mountains is in Asia. Europeans are Asians. Subcontinent of India, hold on. Subcontinent of India, they're Asians. So what I'm trying to tell you is there's no one way to be Asian. So then why in the hell have we been hogtied and thinking there's one way to be African when Africa has the most diverse population, the most diverse genetics on planet Earth? So if we have the most diverse phenotypes, the most diverse DNA, the most diverse hair, we got the fastest people in the world and the slowest people in the world. We got the most beautiful people in the world and we got the ugliest people in the world. They're all in Africa. How do we know? Because this is how that there's a way of kind of figuring out where the origin of something is. So if you have some grains that you find in Asia, right, maybe 2 strands of that, and then you find the same type of grain, maybe 10 strands of that in Africa, then you could safely say that strand, right, came from Africa because the most diversity of it, right? That's why we talk about bottlenecks. So I'm moving the population down. A bottleneck is when, if I was to tell you, we all grew up with those crayon boxes. 100 guys, they 250 crayons. We all had that. Imagine taking 25 out of that, right, and moving it over here. Now you have a founder event where those crayons can only make back with the 25 colors. Whereas though the crayons with 250, they can mix with each other. Because you got less diversity in the 25 than you got in 250. That's the same way with human populations, and we call them non-Africans, right? When they leave the original population, when they leave the population of diversity. So I am telling you, the trick is to say, the white boy treats you and say, them, look at them. Look at some of them Egyptians right there. They white. Yeah, because they kind of look like that. Some may have had blue eyes. Some may have had light skin. Some may have not had the hair that you think they should have. But guess what? I'm telling you, you got to wrap your mind around this now. I'm telling you, you can look at the person, right, and say, that's a damn European, and they ain't got nothing to do with Europe. That they are indigenous African. I'm saying you can be jet black. Get my point? You be jet black and don't have nothing to do with being African. You can go
All right.
Well, can I ask a question? Because I didn't get a chance to ask you a question.
Hold on for a minute. Apostle.
Apostle Ed.
Yes, sir.
He fell asleep.
Whatever you did, you need to keep your system like that. You don't have no echo, you clear, and you good. So I don't know what you did, brother, but you good right now, and you shouldn't. Don't switch it up.
Yeah, this is StreamYard, the top selection echo cancellation.
Nelly, you cut me off just to say that.
It wasn't on.
Yes,
cut on there.
It was. That's what it was all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
That's horrible moderation right there. I'm trying to get a point
I'm trying
to get a point that we cannot.
No, I wanted to get a because that was important. Apostle always have an echo. So go ahead, finish up.
I'm saying that you can have a person that's jet black with the peppercorn hair and ain't got nothing to do with Africa. The people in the Adamese Island, man, are some of the darkest people on earth. But they ain't. They migrated. The population migrates out of Africa, go into Asia. They all mutate, right? So that population in Adamese Island is more close to people in Asia than people in Africa, right? And so if you want to be racist and follow racism, then do the skin color thing. And then you right back with the white boys with the crazy shit. Go ahead.
Can I ask the question now?
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted to talk about the chronological the time frame of when the ancient Kemetic people started going from the upper to the lower and started getting into influencing the Mediterranean, and that would be probably like the end of the Middle Kingdom into the New Kingdom, correct?
Yep, you start finding it there. You find it even a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit earlier. Now,
look at Tune 100.
Yeah, because through the trade, right? And could you elaborate a little bit more on that for us about how how their influence expanded and the time frame and the who's and what's and why?
The New Kingdom when they really doing the thing in the Mediterranean. All right, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the New Kingdom understood that indigenous Africans brought the daggone culture there. I don't think they would have known that. Right, but I'm saying now we got the tools to sit back and understand that. So I'm saying when you get real heavy with it, right, where you start to see the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, and all that, and then Egypt actually ruled the Mediterranean for a time period, right? And so my point I want to make is clear. If a person think it definitely was other people there, but they had not reached that level, that gold standard. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like the golden age. They had not reached that. And so I'm just saying, name them. Name the people that brought the culture to the Mediterranean. You're not going to do it because you got to have a written language. Because even if you did bring the culture there, you ain't writing them, so we don't even know about you. So we don't know. You ain't leading no. You ain't leading nothing.
No evidence.
No evidence. So I'm saying, based off of the evidence that we have, it's the river culture from the Nile Valley. Ranging in skin color from dark to light, which only makes sense. The closer you get to the crater, you get darker based off of the harmful UVA rays we're surrounded by radiation. You're going to be darker. So people in upper Egypt are going to be darker than people in lower Egypt. Lower Egypt people, they live closer to what? Zone 2.
The equator.
No, near the Mediterranean, near those areas, you got upper and lower Egypt. Lower Egypt, they're gonna be lighter than people in Upper Egypt. Remember, it's back.
Upper Egypt,
it's right. They're gonna be because they live close to the equator. Hell, Tar City is in Egypt, but that's Nubia, and it's in Egypt. It's still part of it is in Egypt, southern Egypt. So the people in the south are gonna be darker than the people in the north. It not because some people from the Mediterranean came in, right? It's just because skin color range. The only reason you got melanin is protected from the UVA rays, no matter what the crazy community say at the end of the day.
All right, let me get the next person up because it's crowded. I want everybody to get a chance to speak. I want to bring in Moses. Please don't get pseudo on us, brother. Please, brother. It's on you, brother Moses.
All right, so I already see what kind of energy I'm about ready to get, but I'm still gonna say peace, blessings, ancestors, love in the light of Yah the Most High, shine down on and in the lives of all the Creator's righteous children, resurrecting as gods on earth. Ancestors' protection be around all of y'all. So I came in because I wanted to address Ank's response to what I said in the chat. But before I, build with him on that, I want to make this statement. And the statement is Matthew chapter 6, verses 24 through 33 is, and I need y'all to write these scriptures down because I really need y'all to really understand what it is the ancestors is trying to tell y'all. What African ancestors is trying to tell y'all. So Matthew chapter 6, verse 24 through 33. I need y'all to read that because it's emphasis on Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14 through 15. I need y'all to read that too. It is very important for African people around the world to understand the Bible correctly so that the world will start worshiping the correct God.
What's your question, brother?
People like please, I didn't interrupt nobody when they was talking.
No, I'm saying, what's your question? You only
I'm making a statement first.
We're not here for Bible.
I said it. Look, I said it. I said
you can do that on another show. It's called the Weaponizing of the Mediterranean Egypt. Egypt is a Mediterranean country.
All right,
I said I'm gonna make a statement, and then I'm gonna ask the question. Why you not let me finish my statement?
I don't want to hear no misinformation on my show.
We ain't even started talking about information yet.
Moses, this is Unk's show. Just ask the question, brother.
Right. You start off right.
All right, fine. All right,
salesman though, Moses, like you trying to sell me on the Bible. You're like, come on, bro.
I'm talking to the whole chat. I'm not just talking to you, Aunt. And you just interrupted. You just interrupted everything the ancestors wanted their children to know.
The ancestors should have shut me up then. See, they ain't got that power. See,
no, because you don't have no ancestors in you.
Yeah, it can't be true. I'm here, so I must have ancestors.
No, you don't have ancestors in you. You got animals blood in you, bro. You yourself said that you a Homo sapien.
No, he cool. Humans are animals. I ain't mad at you for that.
You are. Something slick. You are. You just proved it. You ain't got no gods in you, bro.
Hold on. I tell you what. Everybody stop. Hey, Moses, I'm gonna give you a chance, y'all. Explain to me, right, how humans came to be on Earth. Now you know we're having a scientific conversation. This whole conversation about literacy. So without the crazy Adam and Eve, if you do the Adam and Eve, you lose. Because we are biological organisms. You just said that we animals. I thought I know you thought that was some kind of curveball you was throwing, but you actually was correct. Humans are animals, and they're not only animals, they are great apes, right? They all that. Okay, now explain to us, since you got the floor, you want to teach, explain to us how human beings came to be on planet Earth, bro. We listening. Go ahead, you got the stage there, bro.
All right, okay, and I'm gonna let
you bring the sources, right? Give us some sources we can look up. Go ahead, Mr. Muzili 777. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so I'm gonna allow you to take me down a different road because I think you understood what I was getting ready to come at you.
Ancestors told me to shut you up.
I'm gonna let you divert me.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna answer your question.
What?
Physical beings on this earth began with the universe. The universe is the creator of everything, and you have meteorites that be hitting this planet. And one particular meteorite that hit this planet went into the ocean waters. And I'm challenging your out of Africa theory because I don't believe in the out of Africa theory. When the asteroid hit the water and the organisms started coming out of the asteroid or the meteorite or whatever you want to call it, you got the Pacific Ocean, you got the Ethiopic or also known as the Indian Ocean, you got the Pacific Ocean, and you got the Arctic Ocean. You got 4 oceans. And out of that, those physical or those organisms that are coming from the meteorite in these oceans, you have organisms coming out of the Arctic Ocean. And if you want to talk about the animals that came out of that water, that would be your Caucasians. Coming out of the Pacific, that would be your Asians. Coming out of the Indian Ethiopic Ocean, that would be your East Indians or your Black Indians. And then coming out of the Atlantic, that would be, I guess, what you would call your Mesoamericans. Now, as for us, the African, we were not even on land yet. We're still in the waters. We don't even come up into Africa until all of these other organisms are in the North Hemisphere, South Hemisphere, East Hemisphere, West Hemisphere, and they all migrated to Africa where we were, where the wool-haired people, the children of the sun were, and then they started mixing with us. You keep talking about people being racist. You don't even know the difference between a bigot and a racist. A bigot is somebody that hates other races because of. We are all supposed to be racist.
Hold on,
everybody's supposed to protect. I'm closing out. Closing out. Everybody, all y'all animals are supposed to protect your original nature. If you started in the North, if that's what the universe made you to be, you are to remain that. You are not supposed to be mixing with those in the West and the East.
The airport, yo. You overrun the damn airport.
All right, whatever, man. But y'all, there's a difference between animals and Africans.
Mizzou, hold on for a minute, Mizzou. I want you to know I listen very closely to your googly gosh, bunch of nonsense. And guess what you said? You said that the other humans from different places out of a meteorite that fell in the 4 oceans somewhere, the white ones must have froze the goddamn death because you're gonna freeze up in the Arctic. So we know they wasn't doing that.
Polar bears don't freeze. Let me finish. Ain't no penguins freezing. I
didn't cut you off.
Don't say stupid stuff.
I didn't cut you off.
Don't say stupid stuff. Animals up there are not freezing, bro.
You gotta let them talk, brother. Regardless. If you don't agree with him, you gotta let him.
Yeah, I let you talk for 3 crazy minutes, yo. You sound like you was incoherent and lost your mind and was in romper room somewhere with that story. But we listened to it, and I'm saying the story itself was even incoherent because what you did say was a meteorite fell from somewhere. I don't know where. I don't even know how you understand what a meteorite is since you don't even agree with science. But you want to use stuff that science has identified. Bet, fine. And then life fell in different oceans. Bet, turned into humans from a meteorite, right? Now the Africans wasn't on land yet, but everybody else was first. So we just floating around in the water somewhere looking at everybody. You tripping right now. And I'm not mad at you, but I don't want to hear that no more. I just want everybody to hear just how.
Explain the fish that do push-ups. Explain the fish that do push-ups.
Next question, please.
I wanted to respond back on.
Let me show you. Here's a book right here for you. Here, Dave Donald Prothero. Here's my source. And by the way, and so we don't know you're a straight quack. Can you please give us just 2 sources where you got that from, sir? Because everything I say was sourced up. Can I get a source about the meteorite and fall into the different oceans and the white people? Can I get a source for that, sir? What's the name of it, sir?
So the fish that do push-ups. Where those fish come from? Where those fish come from? Where those fish come from?
I just want the source, bro.
I'm gonna make you give people the source.
No,
where those fish?
All right, we got to move on because it's going to be more.
Sonetta, so he can continue. I don't mind the gentleman having their ideas. That's fine. Because I remember being on some crazy, excuse my language, crazy nonsense 20 years ago. That's fine. So to help the listening audience, we just asking this man for 2 sources. Don't
He's
talk about
give me that.
You need a source to tell you that the earth was created by the universe, right? You need a source for that.
No, you didn't say that. You said
that's what you're asking me for. You asking me to give you a source that the universe is responsible for everything that is created.
Says you. I'm saying give me a source to say
you know the source. You have the source. The fish that does push-ups. Where did that fish come from, Unc?
Man,
you
listen,
have
bro.
the source.
Bro, listen. So you saying this is the source of the crazy nonsense you said by Donald Plethoro? This is what you saying?
Yeah, where they come from? Where they come from, Unc? They didn't come from me. They didn't come out the water, Unc.
Yo, you crazy.
Did they come out the water? Yes or no?
So you saying humans was fish first?
We always fish first. Everything. What was cows? What was chickens? Every animal that's on this planet, where did they start at, Unc? Why are you acting like you don't know that?
I ain't never said, first of all, I ain't never said that humans was ever fish. You tripping right now. What I said was that the human body is a suppository of everything that was contained in it, meaning we can actually look at the skeletal structure of humans, right, and tell somewhere down the line 350 million years ago, I'm saying that's 350 million years ago. I know you can't comprehend this, right? That our ancestors would have been fish. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that you let me finish.
So I'm a quack for saying that we all started in the water.
Bro, let me finish, bro. We ain't start nowhere. We Homo sapiens started on land. I don't know what you talking about. You confusing the whole thing because you don't know. So you don't have a source, and you can't use my source, okay? Because my source is talking about the fossil record in Tetelec, right? And talking about the skeletal structure. Okay, no, what you're talking about. But move on to the next question. Well, you super pseudo. I knew you was gonna sound crazy. I always like that.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm up here telling you everything.
And that's not in the Bible, but that's not in the Bible though. Then I don't appreciate
it. Is. That's what baptism is all about. That's why they always refer to water in the Bible, bro.
Hold on, Manzu. This is what I don't appreciate you. I don't appreciate you coming up here parading around as a damn Hebrew, then give me some crazy ass asteroid story and fish and humans in North and the Bible don't say nothing like that. So I'm saying, why would you do African Americans like that? Go give me the source and you can use the Bible, bro. Show me where the Bible say that the asteroid hit the water and they all split and went in different oceans and the Africans just floated around. Show me that source in the Bible, bro. I'm gonna let you use that. You like to
I agree with all.
All right, so first of all, I'm not a Hebrew. Maybe you should stop assuming. I'm not a Hebrew. Apostle is the Hebrew.
I'm gonna mess with Apostle. Got more sense. See, at least Apostle got enough sense to read.
Even Apostle don't understand the Bible. Neither one of y'all understand the Bible, so they don't even talk about it.
Apostle was very coherent when it comes to the Bible.
No, he's not. He's not. He can't even. He think the invisible man created us.
I'm not gonna tell him.
He think the invisible man created everybody.
I'd rather have an invisible man than an asteroid man.
That's where life came from. You got it's just like a daisy. You always talking about science. It's just like the daisy. You can blow a daisy and watch all of them little white particles fly all over the place.
I'm not doing this, bro.
All right, let's move on. Let me get back to Octavius. He found his source or whatever. Here you go,
right.
He's sharing his screen.
All right, this is the point I was really trying to make was the fact that you were right about the fact that the Somalians had their own kingdom.
Thank you, sir.
But
honest guy.
The thing about it is that when you talk about ancient Egypt, and people try to talk about the people as a monolith, the dynasties lasted for 3,000 years, and there were many people. There was many different dynasties and many different races that ruled ancient Egypt. So to say that ancient Egyptians were this one race, one race or one genetic group, that would be a fiction, that would be false, due to the fact that there were many dynasties that ruled for sometimes 1,000 years. As you can see, the Hyksos rules for 1,000 years. And then you can see here that the Kushites ruled for 100 years, my bad. And for the Kushites ruled for almost over 100 years also. And then there were many Assyrians.
They didn't rule the whole thing.
Yeah, the Assyrians ruled for a short time, the Persians, and then also when people start talking about White Egypt, they are talking about the Ptolemaic dynasty, which brought in a lot of the Romans, the Greeks in the end. And then you had a lot of Romans that start colonizing North Africa around that same time. And so when people start talking about ancient Egypt, what I don't get a lot from a lot of people that give these lectures is the fact that they don't talk about the different racial groups that conquered Egypt, and you know, and they don't stick to that particular point. It's a difference between the native Egyptian versus the ruling class people that rule at different times. So to say that, oh, that you're not, these people are not African, yeah, at some point they were not African. You can pick, if you want to pick and choose when they're not African, the history is already there. I mean, the Romans definitely were not African.
That's now beyond the dynastic era. So you're talking 27th dynasty and beyond. When you get your Persians, then your Ptolemies around the 31st, then you get into the Romans. But the Romans are not even considered the dynastic era, which is why Ankh didn't really include them. But he mentioned the other three because he feels that they start the civilization almost together. But this is why I mentioned that we got to look at where it came from and its early influence in Nabta Playa. And when he pulls up a slide that shows rock art, that should be your first clue, because there's only going to be black people on there.
Hey, sir, can I go next?
All right. Now, hold on. Mandinka. What's up, Mandinka?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm not here to cause no trouble. You know what I'm saying? But first of all, you know, when you're using that word weaponized, you got that from indigenous black man, because Charles Darwin, George Lemaitre, and all these pseudo scientific racists that said we monkey chimps, they weaponize science. How you gonna sit here and call me a racist? I don't use those type of scholars.
I didn't call you that.
And
I
you're very
apologize. I didn't call you that.
Bro, come on, man.
JJ, you breaking up, fam.
You breaking up, Mandinka. You breaking up.
Ancestors got you out of here, yo.
Quick, because it's
ancestors, man.
JJ, find a spot, man, and stay there. Don't walk around.
The ancestors.
What's up, Nepal?
Boy, them ancestors be working when you need them, boy.
Nepal, you want to say something?
It's a great build.
You want to say something?
No, I just said it's great. There's some stuff I didn't know. I'm listening to. I'm learning.
Okay.
If I don't know something, I fall back and just listen.
Rakufu, go ahead, bro.
Okay, so I wanted to ask how would you classify Dexter Caffey and Robert Ross, two African Americans who took their test and came back straight descendants of Pharaoh Ramses?
First of all, I don't know who that was. Well, I would have to look at that.
Yeah, what up?
Yeah, I ain't jumping out the window, yo.
Okay, that's all. No, I'm out. Go next. Short and no.
Well, you got to ask closer to home.
All right. Hold on. Yeah. JJ had to call in. Jay, what's up, Mandinka?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can the people hear me?
Yes, they can hear you.
Can't hear you. You got to talk up.
Hey, so now, okay, now, why do he keep interrupting?
Just go ahead and talk.
Whatever.
See, you know what? Let me tell you something, JJ. Unc know how to pull your buttons and get you off track, and you fall for it every time, bro. Everybody know how to get you, man, and you fall for it. Be patient. But say what you got to say. Let the brother talk, man. Let him talk.
I'm let him talk.
But when I interrupt him, I'm the problem. Okay, I can do the same goddamn childish shit, but I'm a grown man.
No profanity. Yo.
All right.
Yo.
All right, now let me
Stop. No profanity. I say this to you every day, and then you say, okay. You can't be doing this every day and then saying, okay, like it's all right. Because you already done did it on the show, brother.
Okay. 1,000 apologies, House of Confidence.
That don't mean nothing. It's already logged in, though. See, apology don't mean nothing after you do it.
Right. What is
all right, but go ahead. I'm going to let you go, Jay. Go ahead.
Okay, so whatever he paying you, I'm going to pay you double. Now, let me
ain't nobody paying me nothing, man.
No, pay him double. I paid him 1,000 to come on here tonight, yo. Get that man 2,000, yo.
All right. So it's very disingenuous for him to insult the audience and say that JJ lost to Chief X. See, he up here shadow
I
box.
didn't say that.
Let him talk. Just let him talk. Even if
I
he
didn't say
disagree.
that though. I ain't thought you lost to Chief X.
Even if you disagree, let him go, brother. You want to respond?
Childish. He's childish. Now look at this, y'all. Now it's very disingenuous for him to get up here and say 7,000 lost. He's insulting y'all when 73% of the audience say 7,001. But he wants to get up here and act like he's smarter than us, regurgitating indigenous black man's information, talking about weaponizing. And then he called me racist, and he said both of us lost. The title of the debate, Unc, was Were There Ancient Africans in England? So you're saying I lost?
Was it what?
And then you say he lost. Be quiet, bro. Be quiet, please. Grow up. I know you feel me. Now, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the problem. The argument, he don't understand and know how to read. He better can do 3 simple words. All right? So the problem is he mad because I beat the brakes off Chief X. He's been running for me for years. So Uncle West, if I'm wrong that ancient Africans wasn't in Kemet, then you're gonna have to debate me on it. Who was over there? And don't try to say they weaponize color, because you sit up there and use people who weaponize color. George Demetrius, Charles Darwin, those people you adhere to, and try to come into our community and push them in front of us with this monkey madness. And then none of those ancient Africans taught that we were monkeys. See, this is the misinformation that this guy do. Now, Senator, what did you tell me? Challenge him on that? Now watch this. Hey, Senator, ask him.
You ask him.
No, because you speak. Go ahead. Go ahead, ask him.
Unc,
yes.
Would you like to have a discussion with Mandinka on the topic, brother?
No,
I'm wrong.
I actually knocked him
out.
A couple years, I actually knocked him out. He was like this, stuck on the ground. I don't even go back no more. If I knocked you out like that, I'm good. We could talk. We have a conversation though. I don't mind.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. If y'all give Mandinka an opportunity, see, people don't respect him because he go wild sometimes. But Mandinka know his stuff, man. He studies. Brother.
Yeah, he don't understand science, man.
He let his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah,
that's where.
He be doing too much, man. I ain't gonna lie.
And people can use that as the strategy against him. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he don't mean it though. He don't really mean that. Like he don't mean that. He be tripping. That's why he all right though. I ain't mad at him. I got love in my heart for him. I just don't mess with that other guy. The other guy is a racist. Simple as that, bro. Like first time he ever got popular in his whole entire life was when he had the whole crazy Egyptian community. And let me say something about that. Just because you live in Egypt don't mean you know the damn history of ancient Egypt.
Right.
That's the part to get me. Just because you live in America don't mean you know African American history. We can tell. So that ain't that ain't it. So I don't want to hear that. So we talking ancient history. That's for the experts and top-notch sources. That's what's going around here.
Hey, Unc, you know how I know that's true? Because Benin had a wall 4 times bigger than the Chinese wall, and the normal Benin or Nigerians today, they're just finding out about it. So just because you live somewhere don't mean nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Truth.
All right. So, in our closing, we winding it down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you close this thing out,
Man, I appreciate it, man. Sorry for being late. All right. But the conversation was very important because people have weaponized the fact that all Africans don't look alike. And all Africans don't have the same hair texture. And so they weaponize it against us and say, yeah, these Egyptians because they look like this. Or these Egyptians, or they not Egyptians because they look like that. And I'm saying that can't be farther from the truth. When you study biodiversity, when you study bioanthropology, it's a little different there. And so as we walk away from the conversation, I left you sources. I gave you 3 great presentations. And just remember, the next time somebody howling and screaming about the Mediterranean, say, well, what's the foundation of Mediterranean culture? You're going to have to be reading and writing and having something to trade, right? And build a strong economy. That is the foundation of Mediterranean culture. Indigenous, listen to me, indigenous, no matter who come in, you know what I'm saying, and mix, the Nile Valley civilization is an indigenous enterprise and is indigenous to the river. And their customs and their traditions are based in the river. Okay? Easy work right here. All right. They move to the Mediterranean and they bring culture there. If you think it was already a bustling culture there before they got there, name the players. That's all you gotta do. Bring the source. Say they the Greeks. Nope. Egypt predates the Greeks. How about the Persians? They predate that. How about the Syrians? No, they predate them. How about the Phoenicians? They predate. Carthaginians. They predate them. So we use chronology in this conversation. Now we start to understand what Mediterranean culture really is. Don't be afraid of that word, right? Just understand what it means. Understand the foundation, okay, of Western civilization, right? They say it's in the Mediterranean. Am I correct in that? They say it's Greece. They say it's Rome. That's what they say, right? So now we understand what Mediterranean culture really is. Now we understand chronology. Now we get it, right? I don't use the racial tropes. I don't do that because then I'll be just like the white people that mischaracterize it. So I want to finish with this. What exactly makes a person a damn Egyptian? If you can answer that question, then you'll know and then you'll understand. The answer is the thing that makes you an Egyptian is not your damn skin color. The thing that makes you an Egyptian is that you can speak the language, worship their gods, and respect the pharaoh. There's no other evidence of anything else beside that.
Now, y'all talk about DNA. You promote DNA all the way.
Yeah, but
I took my DNA test, and they linked it back to Ramesses III, brother. What does that mean?
That means that you don't come out of the loins of Ramesses III. That just means you may have shared some markers. That's it. It's like I got markers in Utria. That don't mean I came from Utria. It's misrepresenting of the data. The data ain't never
when you say
saying
markers, what are you saying?
Meaning you might have had like L3 or something like that, and those populations they may carry L3. And so yeah, you may carry L3, but that don't mean you came from there. Because now what people don't know is we never lead with DNA. That's the last thing, right? There's a historical narrative. So if we look at the historical narrative, right? We'll see that the places where most of us came from is West and Central Africa. History tells us that it was a global bustling economy based off of the backs of indigenous Africans. It's called the transcontinental slave trade, right? It's economy based, right? Chattel slavery. And that history clearly shows it's one of the most documented events, right? Some of them kept good records, some of them didn't. But we can't sit up here and act like that we can't go to the records and historical record and historical narrative to recognize where African Americans come from. Historically speaking, African Americans don't come from Palestine and Judea, nor do they come from the Northeast African population. We don't come from Ethiopia. We don't come from none of that. And that's fine. So history, right, says different. The tools in science say different, but that's okay. So there you go, sir.
All right. And with that, I want to say thank you.
Let me shout out the pseudo killers. Let me shout out the community skeptics, man. I felt the need for speed tonight to make sure that we learn how to dig up and mine our history. We will use science literacy and the tools of science to tell our history correctly. Appreciate you, Saul, man. Shout out to everybody on the platform, to Paul. Appreciate you hosting because I was late. I appreciate you stepping up. Appreciate you, Saul, man. Appreciate my community, right, that we're a part of, right? Promoting science literacy. Atheists all day, every day, right? And with that, man, you know we out.
All right. Peace, brother.
Peace.
Like the video, thumb up the video.